Good morning.
You aren't going into town by any chance, are you?
Yes, I'm going into town.
So am I. I'm taking this dress of Maggie's back to be altered.
Well, you better get in.
Thanks. On the way, I can tell you the news.
What news?
The cat's out of the bag about Leicester. My sister let it slip in the Rovers last night. But nobody was listening. Not that matters. Morning.
Hey, kid, you'll never guess.
Oh, I'd be careful if I were you, Betty. I really would. There's not been a day lately. Well, you've been all agog about something.
Oh, I like being agog. It keeps me weight down.
What is it this time?
Well, besides having seen him and her just drive off in his car.
I know. Janet's gone on an errand. I know I sent her.
I said beside that.
Go on. Ooh, I'm getting as bad as you are.
Janet never went to Leicester to see her sister.
How do you know she didn't?
Because I heard her sister say so in the pub last night. So she came up here to see her because our little Miss Reed didn't bother to go down there.
Oh.
Well, is that all you've got to say?
What else is there to say?
She was in Leeds with Alan Howard, wasn't she?
Anything's possible.
I'll say it is. Oh, you never know folks these days, do you? I mean, I'm surprised at him. He's only been married 2 minutes himself, and here he is carrying on with somebody on his own,
And you're in your favourite pastime, Mrs. Turpin, calling folks names? I hope it weren't me you were alluding to.
Oh, no, Mrs. Hogden, it wasn't you, love, for a change.
Well, it's a pity you've not better to do, that's all I can say. You know, if you kept as busy as I did, you wouldn't have time for idle gossip and tittle-tattle. Mrs. Clegg, we've heard from our Irma. She was wondering if you'd send her a post office savings book on. Here's the address.
Yeah, of course I will, Hilda.
Thank you very much. Well, carry on where you left off, Mrs. Turpin, pulling whoever it was to pieces.
Do you think she heard?
She might have.
I wonder about going on her own till I were blue in face.
She's a headstrong girl, and is she, this Miss Hewitt?
Well, you know youngsters these days. Tell them to do something, they do exact opposite just to be different.
Well, that ties in with your opinion, doesn't it, Dan?
Well, you can't expect me to give her a reference, can you, Superintendent? After she had some yeg 400 quid of my hard-earned lolly Pretley on a plate.
Well, she was walloped over the head, you know.
Not hard enough for me.
You know, she were a bit choked that afternoon.
Why? Because her escort didn't turn up?
Oh, no, Big Norm's late more often than he's on time.
Oh, yeah? Well, it's the first I've heard of it.
That's one of the side effects of a criminal investigation, you know, Dave. Turns up all sorts of exciting and interesting facts.
Well, now, that wouldn't be a threat, would it, Superintendent?
Inspector, Dave, please. The only thing is a bit corny. You keep calling me Superintendent.
Sorry, Inspector.
That's better. Now, Ted, you're going to tell me how the Hewitt girl was choked.
She'd not got rise she asked for, had she?
Dave?
All right, so she asked for a rise and I turned her down.
Well, how did she take it?
Like I would have done if I'd asked for a rise, somebody turned me down. She reckoned I was grinding the faces of the poor, and I must be Teddy's brother or something.
Well, why didn't you give her a rise?
Because I am Teddy's brother. Ha ha. Sorry, I'm being corny again. Look, Lucy's been leaning on her spade recently. She's been getting in late, she's been knocking off early. Well, you know the pattern. When kids feel they're being fenced in, they feel they're not getting their fair share of the action. Poor little things.
Well, a daughter of my own.
Tell me, this wouldn't be all leading up to some little theory that this was an inside job, would it, and that little Miss Muffet's the in?
Like I said, Dave, she did get walloped on the head.
Yeah, but not very hard. And stranger things have happened.
Well, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you, Dave? I mean, someone as bent as you staying out of the neck, for instance. I'll be back.
And I love you too, Inspector.
I don't believe Lucille had out to do with it.
Well, whether she had anything to do with it or not, I would like to wring her scraggy little neck. I mean, 400 quid down to Swanee. Well, I'm ruined, aren't I?
There you are, dear. You sure you don't want it warming or anything?
No, thanks, Auntie Annie. That's better. It's taking the taste of the hospital out of my mouth.
You know, I'm not sure that you should be drinking cold liquids with your head injury.
Oh, Mr. Tatlett, why don't you go home and have your dinner or something?
Yes, right, I think I will. But mind, if I were you, I should send for the doctor straight away if it starts throbbing. Be good. Oh, wait, coppers are here. Look, I've been making a list out of everybody that were in betting shop just before she went to bank. I thought perhaps there might be a name you'd recognise.
Well, that's very good, Mr. Tadlock. How many names have you got down already?
Oh, none yet.
Really, Inspector, I do hope you haven't come to question Lucille again. She's only just out of hospital.
Well, I do know that, Mrs. Walker. And if Lucille tells me to go, I'll go. Lucille?
Oh, it's all right. I'd rather talk to you than Albert Tatlock.
So if you wouldn't mind, Mrs. Walker.
If I wouldn't mind what?
Well, leaving us alone for a few minutes.
Am I being ordered out of my own dining room?
Look, Auntie Annie, he just wants to spare you the gory details of my brush with the underworld.
That's right.
Well, I give you just 10 minutes, not a second longer.
Hey, you don't want to hear the old story again, do you?
I'm afraid so, Lucille. Again and again, probably.
It was getting on to 3 o'clock and there was no sign of Big Norm.
Tell us something, Maggie.
Ta, what?
Would you, if you had your chance, get wed again?
What a question.
Well, would you?
Yeah, I think so. If only for the company. Why'd you ask?
Oh, I don't know. Makes it easier on yourself, I suppose. You don't have to make so much effort. For instance, you can stay in your muck all day if you want to.
Yeah, I suppose you can. Keeps you young, though, doesn't it? Making an effort for a fella. So all the magazines say.
I think it's making me old before my time.
Elsie, do you have to make an effort? Especially, I mean.
It depends, doesn't it? It depends what competition you've got. Look what I thought about you the other day.
I'm sorry, Maggie. Did you think I'd got lost? I met a friend and we went and got our bottoms pinched in that new Italian cafe.
I thought your cheeks were red.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry I missed your sister the other day.
Oh, you didn't miss much. She's not your type. I don't think she's anybody's type, actually.
I know exactly what you mean. I've had sister trouble myself. Ta-ra.
Ta-da. Well, don't glare at me, Maggie. I said I'm sorry.
Talking about your sister, I believe she was dropping little nuggets of information all over the Rovers last night.
Such as?
Such as the night Alan Howard went to Leeds. You were nowhere near Leicester.
And that bothers me like a drop of rain.
Well, he hit me again when I wouldn't drop the case, and I mean, he must have knocked me down. I don't remember falling, I just remember being on the ground.
Do you remember seeing anybody else in Back Marriott Street before you were attacked?
Only that park jag I told you about.
Was there anybody in it?
I don't remember.
Well, do you remember seeing anybody before you turned into Back Marriott Street?
I don't remember.
Nobody hanging about, waiting?
I don't remember. Look, I might as well make a record of that.
Yeah, well, not to worry. Tell me, Lucille, why did you go into Back Marriott Street?
It's a shortcut.
Well, it's not much used.
Well, I always go that way with Big Norm.
But you weren't with Big Norm, you were on your own.
I never thought.
Never thought what?
Well, I'd be attacked. I mean, well, you don't, do you?
But it was against all the rules, wasn't it? Going on your own without Big Norm.
Yeah.
But still, you went on your own.
Yes.
Why?
I wasn't thinking.
Why weren't you thinking?
Oh, how do I know?
Oh, come on, Lucille. You can do better than that.
I was browned off.
Well, why were you browned off?
Dave Smith had just refused to give me a rise.
So you thought you'd get your own back?
Yeah. Hey, what are you getting at?
The truth, love.
Now, I'm sorry, Inspector, but I'm afraid you've had your 10 minutes, and I must insist on arresting now.
Of course, Mrs. Walker. We don't want her overtiring herself after what she's been through, do we?
No, indeed.
Well, thanks very much for the chat, Lucille. I'll have to take it down in writing sometime, but don't stop thinking about it. Keep on churning it over. There might be something you've forgotten to tell me. Cheerio. Cheerio, Mrs. Walker.
Inspector.
Hey, Inspector Sharp.
Yeah?
There is one thing, but I'm not sure if it wasn't an hallucination.
Go on.
Well, when I was lying on the ground, you know, sort of half-conscious, I'm sure I heard someone say my name.
Oh, come on, Chum. My belly feels my throat's cut. Oh, beans again.
Well, not quite again, Chuck.
Well, beans every day this week.
Yeah, but they're on a different plate today. I got 6 in a sale at Harrison's this morning. Do you like the colour?
Well, Billy Screen doesn't do much for baked beans, does it?
No, but they look very nice when we have salad.
We never have salad.
Well, we just have to start then, won't we? Stan? I've got a problem.
Eh? You're not...
No.
You haven't lost another of my socks, have you? What are you doing? You found a peg-leg fella or something?
No, this is a socialist problem.
Socialist?
Yeah?
Oh, go on, then.
Well, I happened to overhear a bit of gossip in the corner shop this morning.
You always overhear gossip, don't you? Same as you use my flipping socks. That's what you do oftenest.
This is serious, Stan. It could affect a life. 2 lives, 3, 4 even.
I don't want to know. Whose lives?
Alan, Elsie, Len and that Janet Reed.
Eh?
Not to mention the poor policeman who'll have to try and arrest him after he goes berserk.
Who goes berserk?
Len.
Look, will you just explain this very quietly to me, please?
Well, after what I heard in the corner shop this morning and in the Rovers last night, I put 2 and 2 together.
And came up with a triple answer as usual.
Oh, well, if you're going to be sarcastic.
Go on.
Well, in my opinion, Alan Howard's consummating an affair with that Janet Reed, who's sleeping in our Irma's bed, by the way.
And that's what you think?
I'm sure of it.
You know what you're going to do?
What, Chuck?
Keep your gob shut.
Ah, but that's the whole point, isn't it?
What do you mean, the point?
Will I be able to keep me gob shut?
You will with my fist in it.
Oh, no, but Stan, you know my tendency as well as I do. Now, an inducious word here and there, and before you can sneeze, Elsie knows. So she murders Janet Reed and then commits suicide. Then Len blames Alan, does away with him, and that's where the police come in. It happens every day.
Where?
Well, LA for a start.
L.A.?
Los Angeles.
Well, this is England.
Oh, the world's a shrinking violet, Chuck.
So what are you going to do?
Oh, not me, Chuck. You.
Me?
Yeah. Now, who's Alan's best friend? Man, that is.
Len.
Ah, but he won't be after Elsie's killed Janet Reed and then herself.
Oh, shut up.
No,
Wendy,
so while he still is, I think he ought to have a quiet word with Alan and tell him his guilty secret's public knowledge, or nearly.
But Len knows nought about it.
No, but he will when you tell him.
Eh?
Right, that's 20 each way. That's 40. 60 change, isn't it, love? 60.
Okay. Hello, love. You've made a quick recovery.
Who's she?
All I know is her name's Jackie. Turned up just before dinner.
Is he in?
Yeah.
Hello. Shouldn't you be sucking a sedative or something?
Oh, it's surprising what you can do even when you're compos mentis.
Compos mentis. It must be marvellous to have a classical education.
It is.
Now, what can I do for you then?
Well, you could ask me how I am.
How are you?
Look, Mr. Smith, I'm sorry for what happened.
Yes, so am I. 435 smackers, sorry.
Well, they'll get it back, the police, I mean, won't they?
Well, if they nobble somebody in the next 24 hours, I might be lucky and recover half of it. After that, it'll be dispersed amongst sundry other bookmakers, publicans and ladies of easy virtue.
I'll pay you back.
I'm sorry, Lucy. That process, I think, will be just a bit too slow for a man of action like me.
Well, what I've really come to say is I can come back to work tomorrow. I'm fit enough.
There. I'm forgetting my manners, aren't I?
Manners?
Yeah. I haven't introduced you to Jackie, have I? Jackie? Meet Lucy. Jackie's your replacement. Your permanent replacement.
Hello.
Now, don't forget, Stan, you have a word with Len.
Yeah.
Well, it's all for the best, Chuck. It could stop a load of trouble.
Are you sure about this Alan Howard and this bird?
Positive, love. Now, apart from the proof of my own ears, I've got a seventh sense for things like this.
I think we should leave well alone, you know. It might make things worse.
Now, look, supposing we did leave well alone.
Well, I think we should.
Well, somebody else will cotton on. They're bound to. I'm not the only one with good hearing round here, you know, not by a long chalk. And they might not be as understanding as what we are. So it's us duty to interfere.
You mean my flaming duty?
I think we're behaving in a very responsible manner.
I wish I did.
Beyond reproach, in fact.
So it seems that all Miss Hewitt did was just act stupid.
Yeah, well, if you say so, Inspector?
We don't seem all that bothered one way or the other.
No, well, I'm not really. You see, I fired her.
Well, you're the boss.
That's right. I would feel a lot happier if we were discussing if and when I'm going to get some of my money back.
Ah, well, has been a development.
Oh, now he tells me. What are you, a socialist or something?
No, it's just that I like to see people like you sweat a bit, Dave. That's all. It makes honesty a bit more bearable.
You know, you ought to have a spot in this club of mine as a comic.
Oh, you've got a club now as well, have you, Dave?
Well, just an interest, you know, makes a change.
Yeah, that and money.
Oh, naturally, yeah. So, there's been a development, you say?
Yes, this bloke that Ted thinks might be called Johnny. Apparently he was here just before the Hewitt girl was done.
What about him?
It seems he's teamed up with somebody lately and they've been boasting they're going to do a job.
Johnny who?
You'll read his name in the paper, Dave, after he's been in court. And in the meantime, just stick to snakes and ladders, will you, or whatever your hobby is. That's a good lad.
Oh, Auntie Anne, I can fight my own battle.
My instinct tells me to go straight round to that betting office and give Mr. Dave Smith a piece of my mind, dismissing you less than 48 hours after you've been attacked and robbed in his service. I think it's monstrous treatment.
Well, it wouldn't make any difference. He won't change his mind. Any road, this Jackie's better looking than I am.
At least I'd have the satisfaction of knowing he knows how I feel, which he most certainly will if he dares to show his face in this place again.
Evening.
Still not feeling too well, lovey.
Why? You don't look it. Dave Smith's just sacked me. My Auntie Anne's taking it worse than I am. How do you expect me to feel?
Fasten your safety belts. We're in for a wild ride tonight.
Come on in, Len. Now, really be out somewhere. Sit yourself down, okay?
What's it all about, Stanley?
I'd offer you a gargle, you know, but I think we can't keep in this house for long. Drink.
I said, what's it all about? What can we discuss here that we couldn't discuss at the yard?
Well, it's rather private, you know.
You're not tapping me for more brass behind Ray's back, are you?
Oh, no, I'm quite happy with my wages.
He must be the only worker in England who is. Come on, Stanley, what's it all about?
Alan Howard.
Alan Howard?
Elsie.
Elsie?
And that Janet Reid woman, you know.
They haven't started singing in the clubs by any chance?
You mean you haven't got an inkling?
What about?
What I'm talking about.
Well, what are you talking about?
You mean you haven't got a suspicion, like?
What of?
Forget it.
Hey?
I'm sorry I dragged you in here. I'll buy you a couple of pints tonight to make up for it, eh?
Stanley, you will tell me what it's all about, otherwise I'll tie your arms and legs together in knots, reef knots.
Well, look, it's best to forget about it. Honest.
10 seconds, Stanley. What about Elsie, Alan and Janet Reid?
Eternal triangle.
The what?
Eternal triangle, that's what I've heard.
From who?
Our elder.
Oh, you're flaming elder. And how long's this eternal triangle supposed to have been going on?
Oh, search me.
Who's doing the running, her or him?
Search me.
Does Elsie know?
Oh, I can tell you that. No, she doesn't.
Well, listen to me, Stanley, and listen very carefully, and pass on to Hilda what I've got to say equally as carefully.
Yes, Len.
If there's anything to this, and it's a very big if, I don't want it to go any further. Understood?
Understood.
Leave it to me.
Will do.
Right.
I did the right thing sort of telling you, didn't I?
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't.
Well, it was done for the best of reasons, you know.
And this mate reckons it's one of the best pictures he's ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, so, well, I thought I'd go and see it too.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
Ah, and I thought, well, you might like to come and see it with me.
Oh, I wanted to wash my hair tonight.
Oh, all girls say that when they want to give somebody the brush
No,
off.
I do want to wash my hair. Really, I do.
Well, will you see it with me tomorrow night?
I'll see.
Is that a promise?
Perhaps.
Well, I'll call round tomorrow tea time then.
All right.
Oh, hello, Mr. Howard. You popping over to Rovers later on? Because if you are, I'll buy you a pint. I feel like buying somebody a pint.
Not just the moment, thank you, Colin.
Oh, come on, just the one.
I said not just at the moment, thank you, Colin.
Oh, well, suit yourself. Ta-ra, Janet.
Ta-da. Did you have to bite the poor lad's head off?
Poor lad, that's fine coming from you, who's had him jumping through hoops for the last couple of weeks.
Oh, it's my turn to get my head snapped off now, is it?
I'm in a head-snapping off mood. 20 cigarettes, please.
Having regrets, are we?
Yes, I am.
Because you're frightened it's going to leak out?
Yes.
It won't, you know.
So you say.
You, wouldn't be having regrets for any other reason, would you?
Such as what?
Well, the straightforward regret that you ever bothered with me at all.
How much are the cigarettes?
30. Well, you haven't answered my question. Are you?
I don't know, Janet. And that's the truth. I'm just afraid of wagging tongues. I'm afraid the tongues are going to wag at Elsie. Today or tomorrow or next week. And I'm frightened. I'm really frightened.
My, what an interesting life you lead. Funny, isn't it? You can be daft about a fella one minute and feel like strangling him the next. You know, I think he's a bit weak. Show me one who's not.
Oh, hello, Chuck. Did you have a word with Len, then?
I did.
What did he say he was going to do?
It didn't.
Oh, what a disappointment.
It did say so, mate.
What?
If you tell anybody, he won't be responsible.
Oh, well, I can
can only try not
You'll
to.
do more than that, you won't.
Yes, Joe.
I never seen him so mad. He wasn't raving, he was seething.
I said it was a situation filled with dark and terrible passions.
It's this permissive society, they go too far.
Do you reckon?
I mean, it's not wrong with a bit of a slap and a tickle, even if you're married, is there?
Hmm.
But these days, they want the whole hog. He takes all the fun out of it, if you ask me, you know.
Stan? Am I to understand that you prefer a bit of slap and tickle to, well, you know, because that's what you've just inferred.
I'm going for a pint.
I'd like an answer if you don't mind, Stanley. Because I've noticed recently that you haven't been, well, showing the interest what you should have been showing.
Chuck,
What?
what about a week last Wednesday?
Week last week? Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Well, then, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, we're very lucky, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Managed to keep ourselves very unsullied, like, haven't we?
Unusual in this day and age, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. Not been through lack of opportunity neither.
Oh,
has it?
no, me neither, you know. See Naples and die, what?
Do you mean the war or that ice cream woman?
The war, love, the war. You know.
Yeah. Of course, I've had my moments of temptation and all, you know.
Oh, I expect you have, yeah.
Oh, yes, we're very lucky.
Very.
So what do you fancy?
Eh?
For your tea.
Ah, well, I don't want pie and beans, you know.
No. Well, how about sausage?
Yeah.
And beans on a nice white plate.
Smashing.
Yeah. If I could plant a tiny seed of love in the garden of your heart.
And there's nothing interesting happened today, then?
No, Betty.
I think you're telling me lies.
You can think what you like.
Oh, no, but you will let on, won't you, if anything blows up between you know who?
On my guide's honour.
You were never in the guide.
I know.
Don't look now, but guess who's going to get his eyes scratched out?
Hello, Albert.
Oh, found the robbers yet, have you?
Oh, let's talk about something agreeable, shall we?
What, like buying me a drink?
Oh, good. All right, even that. Bet.
You serve him, I'll go and tell Madame Defarge he's here.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Just watch me.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
A large whiskey, a rum, and keep 10% of the bill for yourself.
Oh, tar very much.
10% of what? 50 pence? That's 5 pence.
By God, Albert, I hope I'm as sharp as you are at your age.
5p's, a shilling, just for serving 2 drinks. And I never get 5 quid a week pension.
It's a very unfair world, mate.
Yeah, I've always known that.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Ah.
Good evening, Mr. Smith.
Evening, Mrs. Walker.
I wonder if I might ask you to come round to the snug bar.
Why?
Shall we say, in order to preserve our respective decorum?
Well, I've always tried to preserve my decorum.
I am.
So am I.
Now, Mr. Smith,
Now, Mrs. Walker.
I'll be very brief.
That's nice of you.
You dismissed my ward today.
Correct.
In my opinion, a callous and unjustified act,
In your opinion.
which I have now stated.
Well, that doesn't alter anything.
I didn't expect that it would.
Is that it, then?
It is.
Mrs. Walker?
Mr. Smith.
Ever been at bed? I thought I'd at least have found out if that were a wig he wears.
Hey, what were all that about?
Well, you've heard of civilised behaviour, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what that was.
Oh, Len, it's a bit late to be wanting a quarter of humbugs.
Is Maggie in?
No, she's out boozing.
Shut the door.
Any more orders, sir?
There's just one question I'd like to ask you.
Is there now?
Are you and Alan Howard messing about?
Look, what is this? Only the other day I had Ken Barlow in here giving me free advice on the same subject.
So the answer's yes.
I'll tell you what I told him. Mind your own business.
I'm not here to mind your business, just to give you a warning.
You know, you could be Ken Barlow's echo. You really could.
Just a warning to cut your losses and quit, because there's nothing in it for you.
Incredible. Really incredible.
He just looks upon you as a laugh, just for a night out.
Just a night out, huh?
That's all, so why get yourself
Depends what
all-
you mean by a night out, though, doesn't it?
Well, you know, a couple of bevies and
Oh,
a country
Alan and
pub
mine's
and
night out went further than that, Len.
Further?
Much further. It lasted till the next morning. In the same hotel.